once again, we have a situation with English voice actors and a bit of a controversial thing going on here. So we'll talk about that in this video, of course. Before we get into all the fine details, I'll give you a real quick overview of the situation, like a super rough TLDR. It's not the full picture. It's just a quick overview, like I said, of kind of what we're going to be talking about here. So essentially, there was just a few days ago a really great fan-made Scooby Doo animation. I think the artist said they used Blender to make this, the animator artist, and very well received. At the time I took a look at the video the other day, I think it had like 500,000 views, super well received, lots of positive comments, lots of people loving this. However, over on Twitter/X, a little bit of a different story, the dude who made the animation is getting a lot of backlash because he apparently used AI for some of the voices in the video. Not all of them, and by the way, the video is like 10 minutes long, I believe. So like I said, I'll give you all the fine details once we get through the TLDR at the beginning here. But long story short, dude makes this animation, uses some AI voices for some of the characters, not all, and some voice actors are now very upset at this guy. Very upset, and that's part of the issue here. It's not even necessarily that they're not making decent points. It's how extreme some VAs are handling this, and many people are saying it's like completely inappropriate the way that these VAs are handling the situation. So we'll get to that, like I said. One more note real quick. As mentioned, some of the points are kind of fair. For example, one of the issues some VAs have is their voice being used for a project without their consent, like just taking their voice and using it for something without their consent and or without paying them. Now, people have refuted those points in the context of this particular video, saying, you know, it's like a 23-year-old dude who does not have a budget to hire these VAs, who made this project not to make money or anything, but purely out of love for Scooby Doo, one of the most well-known cartoons of all time, and Scooby Doo fans and things like that. It's a passion project made out of love. It's not some like financial thing he's doing to make like a quick buck. So people are saying, even if the VAs are making some decent points here, that they are wildly handling this in a bad way. And I'll show you all that right now. That's a TLDR. Let's get to it. Thanks for your patience. Taking it from the top, we have this video, Scooby Doo, Where Are You in Springtrapped? With already over 720,000 views, over 133,000 likes. In the description, when the gang visits Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, they must investigate a mysterious case of the animatronics getting a bit quirky at night, created in Blender 3.5. And a bit of a disclaimer here as well. 4 out of the 7 voices in the short were created using AI. I chose to go this route because I wanted the gang to sound right, and the voice actors were not at my disposal. I am very new to the animation community and have never worked with voice actors before, so honestly I did not think it was that big of a deal to use AI voice on a fan parody. I'm only 23, I'm not rich, and I'm working completely solo. I spent $10 on this project, and that was enough to pay a TikToker with a good Shaggy impression to read all of his lines. I taught myself Scooby and did all those lines myself. Oh, that's cool. He did his own Scooby. So I thought you could understand that it was an honest mistake made by an independent animator who was just trying to have a little fun with the medium and his favorite franchises. I'm currently working on redubbing the video with real VAs, so hang tight. This is a fan animation. I do not own the rights to any of the content in the video. Fair use permits the commentary, criticism, or parody of a copyrighted work without having a license from the copyright holder. And as mentioned earlier in the video, this Scooby-Doo fan-made project has been extremely well received over on YouTube. You can take a look for yourself at the top comments. It's pretty much everyone talking about how much they enjoy the video and how much they're impressed by the video and things like that. With over 3,100 likes and a heart, this comment says, I love how there's no blood, swearing, or edgy humor. Some people would just make an adult parody, but this feels true and faithful to the show. I love that. And right above that, the discussion regarding the controversial situation on Twitter/X regarding this video and what some VAs are saying about it. And for example, this person quoting the uploader saying that they apologize for using AI essentially, and this person saying that they have nothing to apologize for. And a bit of a discussion on that ensuing in the comments. And my apologies for saying the uploader. The name of the channel is Eagon Tigman, and I'll have that linked in the description so you can check out the video yourself if you'd like. However, over on Twitter/X, there's been a lot of anger towards this video. One of the tweets kicking the situation off reads, this film uses AI simulated voices of currently active talent. The inevitable result of this cheap tech will be overexposure, killing their ability to make a living with their formerly unique instrument. Law must catch up now. And adding Grey DeLisle and Mindy Kaling. Mindy Kaling from that Velma show you might have heard of from like a year ago or something. And Grey DeLisle is one of the VAs for Daphne. Now, going back to this tweet where this J person tagged those two VAs, Grey DeLisle and Mindy Kaling, who will take a look at Grey DeLisle's response, in a minute, because that's really the major point of contention here. A lot of people are really upset with how she's handling this. Like I said, we'll get to that. So the J person adds from just an hour ago, though, saying, okay, everyone, it's day 3 now. As you tore through, please be respectful of other comments. And remember that your observation may have already been made several times over in other parts of the thread. And getting a response here with 44 likes, it says, how about you be respectful to the original creator of the video and issue a public apology to him for causing the situation in the first place. It's not hard to admit what you did was wrong and do the bare minimum, apologize. There's 23 other comments to this comment with only 1 like that he made, and they're all pretty critical of this dude. That takes us to the response from Gray DeLisley with 454 likes in comparison to 1,086 quotes, where she says, I will never ever work for this person, and I am sharing their name with every voice actor I know. Immediate responses to her include Chuck Gaffney saying, here's what I'll do to your or any other professional VA's stupid blacklist. Burns it up. Agia saying, this being the response after you read all of that is very sad. Yogincha saying, personalities like yours are the reason why I hate the VA industry of today. What is this comment talking about, though? After reading what? Well, let's scroll up a little bit here. We can get some more context. So, we already read this tweet from Jay Lender. We talked about that already. However, there's this response from this person, Traystar, which is what Gray DeLisley is responding to specifically, these two things, you know, and the images here. So why don't we take a look at what these images are? Well, one is the image that I already included at the very start of this video from the Scooby Doo video itself with the disclaimer talking about why this person used AI. And the second image is, well, them also including an image of something that I already talked about earlier in the video, and it's how he's talking about it being a fan animation, as you can see here, and that he's planning to relaunch he's planning to make some original shorts, and he wants those to be AI free, etc., etc. So many people see that Tigman person, you know, who made the Scooby Doo video, as someone who's really just trying their best with what they have, and that they meant nothing bad by any of this. And so that's a particular reason why some people who even agree with Gray DeLisley's points of not wanting her voice to be used for these sort of things are not actually siding with her on this one. They're saying that she's handling this in like way too extreme of a way, being way too hard on this dude, and it's just like a very vitriolic, nasty way of going about this whole situation. To explain in razor terms, 23-year-old fan makes Blender animation with a lot of work and passion, gets blacklisted from entire VA industry over it. So hopefully at this point you understand the situation and what led up to this. Now let's focus on some of the public reception to Gray DeLisley herself, like not just me explaining over gameplay, but showing you some actual examples. In response to Gray DeLisley, this tweet with over 7,558 likes, once again in comparison to her 457 now. This tweet reads from Trafon. Gray, as someone who has been a fan of your work and your roles for a very long time, this isn't it. I get the anger at anything AI, but the creator was not trying to do any sort of harm. He apologizes in this very comment section for ever doing it. Please reconsider doing that. Jay Lender, the OP, saying, I imagine she has long since muted this thread, but I appreciate the constructive approach. And 20 responses to him. I'm not going to go through all that, you know, trying to cover this in detail while also being somewhat brief. But I imagine 20 responses here. A lot of people are critical of the OP given what the OP did here. But Trafon is saying, I want her to listen if she even bothers to look. So I'm not going to take the aggressive approach. Plenty of others did that. I just don't want a young man's career to be ruined because he made one decision he has taken every step to want to correct. So a lot of people critical of Gray DeLisley's response and Jay Lender's handling of the situation too. Jay Lender apparently has worked on SpongeBob and Hey Arnold and some other cartoons and stuff. I thought he was just some like random person on Twitter. Guess he's involved in the business, so to speak. And there's just something crazy about Jay Lender having that Writers Guild of America like strike profile pic, and Gray DeLisley has made tweets talking about how she like can't afford to not strike, which I personally don't believe that. I think a lot of the people who have said things like that are being really gaslighty and hyperbolic, and it's like, you know, they'll say, oh, we can't afford a living wage and all that, and then you look up the average amount of money that the Writers Guild of America people make, and it's like $200K a year on average. And yes, that's an average, but guess what? That's still a dang good average. Making way more money than most of us, but we're supposed to support them in their strike while they target 23-year-old people making fan projects who don't have a lot of money, who would be considered more working class than they would, and they want to cancel that dude and then get all of us to support their strike to make them even more wealthy when they're already wealthy. This stuff doesn't add up at all. Oh my gosh. And on many of those points, to be fair, I'm not just talking about Gray or Jay. It's like a bit of a generalization regarding that whole WGA situation. Let's move on from that and continue on with this topic at hand. In response to Gray DeLisley, Trey says, you suck, and I hope fellow voice actors in the industry view you as a joke for even considering blacklisting an indie stop-motion animator for daring to compromise with a shoestring budget. We actually got a response from Ian Tigman himself here. I just saw scrolling on, or I would have included this earlier in the video, my bad, but here it is. He says, hey Gray, just wanted to apologize personally. I'm just a 23-year-old kid who appreciated the show you were a part of and wanted to bring some of the joy it brought me back into the world. What? How dare that? How dare he say that? Blacklist him now. Adding this, it's a little disheartening to see someone who has made it in the industry be so quick to punch down on a young, broke, independent creator just trying to make art and hopefully be able to do it professionally someday. I believe we all make mistakes, and to be completely honest, it feels a bit cruel for a successful person such as yourself to attempt to crush people with lesser opportunities for their missteps. I'm sure if your past errors were treated the same way, you wouldn't be where you are. Anyways, if there's anything I can do to make it right, please let me know. My apologies again. And Jay Linder saying, tens of thousands of actors and writers are striking right now over exactly this issue. So, have real people do your voices, then repost. The old version will never disappear, but why not get on the right side of history? You're one of us. It's a great film, by the way. That tweet getting 105 quotes versus 75 likes. So public reception still negative towards this response by Jay Linder. And this quote retweet, immediate quote retweet at the top, for example, with 8,500 plus likes, saying, guy makes a personal project just for fun with no budget. Hire actors during a strike. Wow, great way to show you don't support us. Hire people for free. Paying with exposure is a scumbag move. Pay your actors. Use AI. Wow, thanks for taking work away from these actors. Basically saying that they were setting this dude up for failure from the beginning. And now back to some more responses to Grade to Lisley. V says, I hope when you make a mistake, people will be as understanding and kind as you are to others. Derelict Golem saying, this is an animation student. Calm down. And Voni saying, good. They don't need you. Ronnie6969 saying, makes sense that you voiced Vicky. And Animation Without Context saying, and as Vin saying, you aren't supposed to actually be as insufferable as some of the characters you voice, you know. Zero Dozer saying, you just justified being replaced by AI. Normal Gen Behaviors saying, when you go your whole life receiving every line and opinion on a screen, finally thinking for yourself usually looks like this. The quotes are very similar. For example, this quote response with 29,000 plus likes saying, be a broke college student. Make a cool looking stop motion Scooby Doo FNAF crossover. Use AI voices because you can't afford voice actors. Do it all for free. Be threatened to get blacklisted by Daphne VA for all your troubles. Yeah, you know, it's pretty much more of that sort of stuff in the quote tweets. A lot of great responses. However, you know, there's literally thousands of responses and tweets about all this, so I can't include everyone in the video. Thanks for understanding. Oh, I almost forgot. My bad. We got a couple more responses here from Egan Tillman himself. So he says, y'all, I don't hate voice actors. I literally just viewed my video as a giant overproduced meme. I didn't really think AI was a big deal because the video was just a joke. I was making it in my free time. I genuinely thought I'd get a couple hundred upvotes on Reddit at best. Also, everyone keeps saying that I could have found volunteers online, but this is basically my first ever animation. I had no idea what the VA community was like, and yeah, great first impression. Continuing. And as an artist, I thought it would be very rude to ask other artists for free or lowballed work. But yeah, I literally despise AI. I just didn't think the voices in my Five Nights at Freddy meme that I spent too much time on would be a topic of discussion in the AI conversation, so I apologize sincerely and have no plans to use AI again. So I think I'll wrap this one up right about here. That's pretty much the situation. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it was informative, and hope I did a good job covering this. Let me know what you think about this whole situation in the comments. I'd appreciate hearing back from you. And thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you in the comments and in the next segment.